Good morning and welcome to the What's Up News Network, being broadcast from Panama City Beach, Florida, the home of the world's most beautiful beaches. I am Jim Free with Jim Free Realty. Please click on the red subscribe button just below the picture. In the local news, Movein Day, new latitude Margaritaville water sound in Bay County welcomes its first residents. This story from Nathan Cobb with the News Herald. Becky and Jim Eckertrin say it is nice to know they were the first people to move into latitude Margaritaville water sound located along State Route 79 near the Intercoastal Waterway in Bay County. The Jimmy Buffett-inspired community recently began welcoming its first wave of residents after more than a year and a half construction. The community, designed for those 55 years and older, is being built on land owned by the St. Joe Company through our partnership with Mento Margaritaville Holdings, and it marks the third latitude community. We know people who are waiting 2 years, but our timing worked out perfect for us, Becky said. We sold our home really quick, and we just kind of knew this was what was meant for us. They've been married 18 years. They have moved from Collierville, Tennessee. They first heard about the brand while visiting Hilton Head in South Carolina, where one of the other two latitude communities is located. The two said they closed on their home October 25th and began moving in that day. They paid $365,000, which included $67,000 of upgrades. Their home features 2 bedrooms, a study, and 2 bathrooms. We're both getting older, and we wanted to have somewhere that if something happened to one of us, the other one could manage. Jim Eckertrin, is 67 years old, said, with all the activities that will be going on there, always will be something to do. William Bullitt, president of the Latitude Margaritaville, said it is a pretty incredible accomplishment for the community to have gotten this point so quickly, considering all the challenges ignited by the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to our out-of-state buyers, Ellen and Ricky Benton, former Panama City residents, were among the first to move into the community. They closed on their property on November 3rd, and like the Eckertrins, began moving in the same day. The couple of 41 years noted that they moved to Bay County in 2008 from McDonough, Georgia. The Bentons said they realized they wanted to live in a latitude community after touring the Daytona location in 2019. It was there that they fell in love with the brand's laid-back, community-oriented lifestyle. Since the couple we lived in the same area they have called home for more than a dozen years, Ricky Benton said they get the best of both worlds. Their new home features 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. They purchased it for almost $600,000, which included $135,000 of upgrades. It's going to be great, Ricky said. We're only a few miles from the beach, and we're also right here on the Intercoastal Waterway. Plus, we have everything we need in the latitude community. We just love living here, Ellen said. While Billy Joe was fishing on Big Cedar Creek, and my cousin, Wanda Jean Shoemake, drove her husband's old pickup truck to the drugstore in Cave Spring, Georgia, which is just a short distance down from Padlock Mountain Road from Booger Holler. I want to buy some arsenic, Wanda Jean told the pretty young pharmacist. Arsenic is a controlled substance. I can't sell you that. What do you need it for? Maybe I can offer you something else, the pharmacist replied. I want to kill my lazy, good-for-nothing, lying, cheating husband, Wanda Jean stated. He is never at home, he won't work, and I have to keep him up all the time, and have done that for the past 3 years. He is either fishing or running around with other women, and I am sick and tired of his girlfriends calling my house trying to find him. Well, I certainly can't sell you anything to be used in a murder, the pharmacist stated in shock. Wanda Jean calmly reached in her purse, pulled out a picture of Billy Joe, and said, "I think you were married to him at one time." The pharmacist took a look at the picture and said, "Oh, I didn't realize you had a prescription. Would you like that in powder or tablets?" Well, there you go. We ain't got no Walmart in Booger Holler. When my Uncle Walt Hartline retired from the cotton mill and Aunt May started forcing him to go shopping with her to the Walmart in Cedartown, recently Aunt May received the following letter from the Walmart manager. "Dear Ms. Hartline, during the past 4 months, your husband has caused quite a commotion in our store. We cannot tolerate this behavior and have been forced to ban both you and your husband from the store. Our complaints against your husband are listed below and are documented by our video surveillance cameras. July the 2nd, he set off the alarm clocks in the housewares department to go off in 5-minute intervals. On July the 19th, he walked up to an employee and told her in an official voice, 'Code 3 in housewares. Get on it right away.' On August the 4th, he went to the service desk and tried to put a bag of M&Ms on layaway. August the 14th, moved a caution wet floor sign to a carpeted area. On August the 15th, set up a tent in the camping department and told the children's shoppers he would invite them in if they would bring pillows and blankets from the bedding department, to which 20 children obliged. On August the 23rd, when a clerk asked if they could help him, he began crying and screamed, 'Why can't you people just leave me alone?' EMTs were called. On September the 4th, he looked right in the security camera and used it as a mirror while he picked his nose. On September the 10th, while handling a gun in the hunting department, he asked the clerk where the antidepressants were. On October the 6th, while in the automotive department, he practiced his Dolly Parton look by using different sized funnels on his chest. October the 18th, he hid in a clothing rack, and when people browsed through, he yelled, 'Pick me, pick me.' On October the 14th, or October the 22nd, when an announcement came over the loudspeaker, he assumed a fetal position and screamed, 'Oh no, it's those voices again.' On October 23rd, he went into a fitting room, shut the door, waited a while, and then yelled very loudly, 'Hey, there's no toilet paper in here.' You are a fireman. This is a true story that has been repeated several times, and sometimes stories get changed over time, but our research shows that this is basically what happened. It also shows how our first responders are always there to help and comfort us. A 26-year-old mother stared down at her son who was dying of terminal leukemia. Although her heart was filled with sadness, she was determined to see that his dreams would come true. Frank Bopsy Salazar, age 7, had always hoped to be a fireman when he grew up. The next day, Bopsy's mom carried him to the Phoenix Fire Department. The fireman took Bopsy's measurements, and a few days later, when he came back to the fire department, they had a full fireman's uniform, complete with yellow coat and helmet, that had been custom made for him. Bopsy scrambled around the back of Engine 9's ladder truck and turned on the siren. Following the ride, he doused a few cars with the water from a 70-pound hose. At the end of the day, Bopsy was pen with an official firefighter's badge and became the Phoenix Fire Department's first honorary fireman. As time passed, Bobsey's condition worsened, and he had to return to the hospital. And as his vital signs began to drop dramatically, the head nurse called the fire chief and asked if he would send a fireman in uniform to be with Bobsey as he made the transition. The chief replied, "We can do better than that. We'll be there in 5 minutes. Will you please do me a favor? When you hear the sirens screaming and see the lights flashing, will you announce over the PA system that there is not a fire, it's just the fire department coming to see one of its finest members one more time? And will you open the window to his room?" About 5 minutes later, a hook and ladder truck arrived at the hospital, extended its ladder to the Bobsey's room, and firefighters climbed up the ladder into the room. With his mother's permission, they hugged and told him how much they loved him. Bobsey looked at the fire chief and said, "Chief, am I really a fireman now?" "Bobsey, you are," the chief said. Bobsey smiled, closed his eyes. Later that night, death gave way to victory. In the national news, I got the idea for this message from Michael Knowles in What's a Word in Prager University. I've told you many times I don't think I've ever had an original thought. I'm a product of what I've learned from my parents, grandparents, my teachers, my pastors, my children, my grandchildren, and even my great-grandchildren, one of which recently said, "Pop, you sure are old." I also got information and thoughts from my friends, from books, from TV, and even the internet. I often use other people's thoughts, but I will always try to give them credit. What does it matter when we call someone that enters a country illegal an illegal alien? Or if we call them undocumented immigrant? What is the difference in a Christmas tree and a holiday tree? Semantics. Yes, the meaning of a word, phrase, sentence, or text, such quibbling over semantics may seem petty stuff, but it is really important that we understand how words are being used and misused. Words exist so that we might discriminate one thing from another. Without words, we have chaos. Words shape how we think and how we react and how we view the world. Did you notice how parents react when they became aware of what critical race theory and equity inclusion actually meant? Words do matter because they can be used to describe something or someone, or they can be used to disguise what is really happening. The left has a special gift for euphemism, a mild or indirect word or expression subtitle for one that's considered to be too harsh or blunt. In other words, it's sugarcoating something that you couldn't get accepted without it. Racial discrimination was changed by changing the words to affirmative action. After all, who could be against affirmative action? Global warming was something that could be measured and challenged, so they changed it to climate change, because climate change is occurring all the time and it's harder to challenge. Some politicians have claimed that if Congress doesn't pass these massive spending bills, the world would come to an end in 10 years, and it will start with the coastal area being underwater. Perhaps President Obama and Speaker Nancy Pelosi don't really believe that, because they have just purchased multi-million-dollar homes right on the coast. The earth was created by our Lord, and it will not be destroyed until He decides to destroy it. I have lived on the coast for 20 years, and I haven't noticed the water rising at all. Young criminals, we hear it referred to as justice-involved youth. When they give us mandates or taxes, it's called individual shared responsibility. You've heard our president talk about that his vaccine mandate is patriotic. So those who are unvaccinated must be unpatriotic. Government spending becomes investment. Wanting to keep more of your hard-earned money becomes greed. Taking more of someone else's money is them paying their fair share. In the name of diversity, the left enforces intellectual conformity. The mainstream media and the internet censors opposition views in the name of tolerance. And anything that does not conform to their narrative is labeled hate speech. Should we call a man that thinks he is a woman he or she? Very few people in this country suffer from gender confusion, and we should be compassionate for those who do. Most of us can look in the mirror and make that determination. The left has invested a lot of energy in this confusion. Is it because they are compassionate? I think not. It's part of their plan to divide us over issues they can find, like race, youth versus elderly, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, wealthy versus poor, conservative versus liberal, capitalism versus socialism, gay versus straight. What about adjectives? Justice means getting what you deserve. Social justice means getting what you don't deserve because you are favored. We hear a lot these days about my truth. No, my truth. There is only one truth, and that is our Lord Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter what my truth is. In John 14:6, Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by me. The term my truth is someone's perceived truth to be regardless of what the facts may be. How about same-sex marriage? Through history, marriage has been between a man and a woman. Now we hear the term marriage equity. It suddenly became an act of bigotry to limit marriage to husbands and wives. However, or whoever controls the word controls the culture. And I have to say right now, the left is doing a better job than we are. If you use the wrong words, the cancel culture will come after you, and you might lose your job, your home, and your reputation. It is time like this that I wish I had paid more attention to Mrs. Martha Davis, my high school English teacher. Until we meet again, may God bless you, your family, and this great nation that we live in.